Welcome to Midnight Acres. We have a Facebook page. You can come like us. Here you can see one of our eggs. It's from the Montgomery group that is in my incubator right now. This is on day 14. These eggs are actually a mixture of the sex link, both red and black, and they are bred to Rhode Island red roosters. You can see here that this egg's developing nicely, and it's on day 14 like I stated earlier. There you can kind of see a little bit of movement. There you can see more. The chick's definitely doing well. It's moving in the egg like it should. And it's of a decent size. Here you can see another egg that's being candled. It's from the same group. There's a total of 40 eggs that were in that incubator. This one here is what I would consider an iffy egg. I'm not sure if it just stopped in the development and passed away, or it could possibly just be a small chick. I'm going to give it a little longer in the incubator. On day 18, when I get ready for lockdown, I will remove this egg and check it again. If it has not continued to develop, I will break the egg and check the interior and see what's going on inside there. This egg looks to be fertilized and that there is a chick in it, but like I said, it may have stopped developing at this point. Or even a few days earlier. This one kind of looks like a day 10 chick versus a 14. This one here, this egg looks like it is not doing well. But we'll reassess it later. I'm not going to throw it out yet. Give it a chance. Here you can see an egg that's not fertilized at all. This one definitely does not have a chick developing in it anywhere. You can see how easy it is to see through that shell. Now these shells are darker, and this one happened to be a little bit of a lighter shell so we could get a good view inside there. But with these dark shelled eggs, I like to wait until day 14 before I first check them because I'm not sure of development sometimes. Here you can see a picture of another one. And this is one of them that I accidentally dropped when I was placing in the waste. There you can see a chick that started to develop but stopped. That dark area there, that was once a fetus that was living, and then for some reason it passed and stopped growing. But you can see how small it is compared to the other incubated eggs. And this one here is probably on day like 5 or 6 in its development. Here's another egg. It also appears to have maybe a small chick in there. One that's even smaller than the previous one. This one, you'll see here in just a moment, it looked like it stopped developing around days 3 or day 4. It's also a cracked egg. You can see those cracks pretty easily whenever it's under the light. Unfortunately, that's probably what contributed to the chick passing away before it was able to develop fully. I'm not sure if it was cracked prior to putting it in the incubator. If I would have noticed, I would have removed it prior to putting it in there. But there is a possibility that it had cracked inside the incubator, because what happens sometimes is if a chick passes away, as they decompose, gas is generated and it causes the egg at some point, if not removed early enough, to actually explode. I do suspect that this one was cracked prior to, and I'll show you here later the cracks in the light, and you can kind of see it looks like it was maybe pecked or stepped on, or bumped against another egg and it caused it to crack because of the shape of the crack itself. But if an egg explodes in an incubator, the yucky stuff that gets on the good eggs can actually kill the good eggs. Here you can see a little bit of the cracks. It's a lot harder to see the cracks on these eggs in the light than it is when candling. So candling is really important to prevent those eggs that are bad in the incubator from exploding. You see that circle right there at the end of the egg? That kind of makes me think that it was possibly stepped on and kind of cracked by a nail of a chicken, but you never know. Here are the 3 eggs that I found, 2 of which were fertilized. The third one I actually thought was not fertile, but it was, and I'll show you here in a minute why. Okay, see that glob there, that circle shape? That is where a baby chick was just starting to develop. It was only on day probably 1, possibly going into day 2 of development before it stopped. This one here is the one that looked like it's on day 5 or 6 of development. You can see the eye there, and it looks kind of like a tadpole. And here is the chick that passed away around days 3 or 4. It's much smaller. Thank you for watching, and come visit me on my Facebook page at Midnight Acres Farm. Thank you.